So I feel it's important to have a pretty serious conversation about what is not just nationally but internationally the biggest story of the last week and a half, and that is the disappearance of Gabby Petito. And I want to start off with a little bit of a summary of the events that led us to where we're at today, because, I mean, every day it seems like it's something new. But a quick little side note, like, we're not going to necessarily talk about, like, we're going to talk about what we know, what is fact, what is out there, but not necessarily what is, there are things that are alleged, and there are things that I personally believe, and I'm sure you have them as well.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it for sure. But like, if there are any type of like Reddit theories out there, we're not going to discuss that. That's anything that is seriously alleged or fact is what we're really going to be hitting upon today. But just also kind of giving our thoughts about the situation, what can be done as a society to make this better, and also the psychology of it. Like, how can someone do this to another person? So, and also another point I want to get across is that we cannot forget that, this is yet again, this is the biggest story since of a female disappearance like this. This is the biggest story since Natalie Holloway back in 2005, 2006. She was the girl who went missing in Aruba and was allegedly killed by Joran van der Sloot. This is probably the biggest disappearance of a woman story that's hit national, international news since then. It seems like every 10, 15 years another one comes along. But we have to remember that usually this happens to very pretty white women, but this is happening on a weekly, daily basis to
hourly
people
basis across the country and world,
to other genders, to other races. This is so we can't forget that this is happening, and even though we're making a big deal about this, we need to talk about it to also build a platform for other people who are missing across the country and the world. So that needs to be said. But going back to Gabby Petito, so quick summary: her and her fiance Brian Laundrie started in New York State to start a van life trip. Van life trip is essentially you get in the van and you live in the van. You retrofit the van to be able to
accommodate
you for long-term living and everything. While you say you can sleep, you can have rainwater built into your like a rain catcher built in. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. But they wanted to drive across the country and hit all the main national forests and hiking trails and everything like that. And they wanted to document everything, and they started doing that. They were doing YouTube videos. I think there was just one YouTube video. They were doing Instagram posts all the time when they were hitting their
usual social media stuff that was going on between the couple.
So they are hitting tons of national parks across the country, and then they get to Wyoming and the Grand Teton National Park. And then around and I'm also going to be talking things in chronological order, how we discovered them. So in late August, they visited the Grand Teton Park, and somewhere around August 25th to August 28th, somewhere around there, we don't have an exact date, her correspondence with her family and friends ceased completely. And then around September 1st, Brian Laundrie showed up at their house in Florida in her van, which she is registered to, just him, not her, where they live with Brian's family. She's nowhere to be seen. And at this point, her family is like, where's our daughter? Where is she at? Brian nor his family are saying nothing. They immediately lawyer up, and she's officially missing. Her parents really fought to make this a national issue, and she officially became a missing person, and the search began. While that search was starting, we also find out that back on August 12th, they were reported by random people for a domestic dispute. There are this one official domestic dispute stated that she was being physical with him, so they called cops. Cops pulled them over in their van, and this was around Moab, and they were pulled over, separated, and you can basically see the entire body cam footage video. It's hard to watch.
It all online.
Yeah, it is triggering.
It's long.
It is
from what I've heard.
Yeah. So it's about an hour long. And the cops going back and forth between Brian and Gabby. And we will get to that because when I say we talk about the psychology of it, that I think that video, that body cam video, is very, very telling about the relationship that they had. So where we're getting closer to where we're at now, but around September 11th, September 12th, she's like officially missing. Brian's been home for well over a week, almost a week and a half, and they're lawyered up. They're not talking to the family. They're not assisting. They're not giving the family any peace of mind of where Gabby is. And it was just about 4 days ago. There was a dash cam footage of the van that was reported of some people just passing by in their car. It was reported to the FBI. The FBI immediately started looking, and they found human remains. And a couple of days later, it was confirmed that it was Gabby Petito. So as of right now, Brian Laundrie, her fiance, is not an official suspect. He is a person of interest.
Mm-hmm. There is a warrant out for him, correct?
There is a warrant out for his arrest. It was just issued today. It's a federal indictment, but since it is, I don't think her autopsy is completely finished because they have not ruled. They have not given us an actual official cause of death. So that they have admitted that it's a homicide. They haven't released the cause of death, so they can't charge him as a suspect without this information publicly made. So the police are taking their time. The federal agents, the FBI specifically, is taking their time and trying to figure out what is going on. So that's where we're at today. So in that time, Brian Laundrie has also gone missing.
Which has been all over the internet, and it's
there is a manhunt going on currently in Florida. People are keeping an eye out on adjacent states. There are a ton of internet conspiracies and sightings, like quote unquote sightings of him all over the place and everything. So that's why we need to be very, very careful in this conversation in regards to what we say, because there's a lot out there that's just not confirmed. But what is confirmed is that he is missing. It is incredibly suspect. His family's not saying it's not saying anything. And hopefully he is found. So the topic that I really wanted to talk about, aside from the obvious and how horrible this is, what has been like because I have thoughts about how I feel about it and everything like that, because clearly this is something that, you don't want to watch. It's easy to be glued to the TV. I've been glued to the TV about this, but I am an extremely empathetic person. All I wanted, until it was confirmed that she was dead, all I wanted was her to be alive. So I wanted to look and look and look and not stop watching until she was found. And then when she was confirmed dead and Brian Laundrie is missing, all I wanted to know, when are we going to find this prick? When are we going to find him? When are we going to find him? Like, I want this family to have justice. It's just hard to not feel massive loss for this family, for me. I mean, that's just, I tap into the grief of others pretty easily, and I just want to watch it. So and it's sad because like there are clearly going to be a ton of people who are like true crime podcasts and true crime documentaries are the biggest thing. And like entertainment has been officially made very simply off of the past suffering of others. And I feel like people are treating this like a true crime documentary that's happening right before their eyes when it should be more about concern.
Playing out right before them, yeah.
Yeah. Look, will this be a movie and a podcast one day? Absolutely, it will.
100%.
But right now, it's really happening. We are really experiencing it, and I have definitely come to grips with the fact that I can acknowledge that it's not an entertainment thing for me. This is grueling for me to watch. I don't enjoy watching this stuff. I just need to know. I need to know that this family is going to get justice. I need to know that we're going to find this prick alive and find out why the hell he did it. And so that's where I'm at mentally. How are you? Like, are you kind of like keeping tabs on it big time? Are you trying to stay away from it? Like, where are you at on this? Because clearly it's something you can't avoid.
All right. So with this situation, it's a bit different for me. When the whole thing started unfolding, it was obviously all over the internet, all over social media. And, the article, one after another, popped up. You got the gist of what was happening just from reading headlines.
Right.
A couple was out there, domestic dispute case, caught on body cam. Shortly after, females goes missing. And then shortly after that, the male partner goes missing. I purposely said I do not give a rat's ass about this, because at this time in my life, there's just more real stuff going on, besides following up on some people who are going on a cross-country trip that went awry, knowing, as you mentioned, that in all these, states that they visited, in the place that they are missing, that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of Native American women that go missing in that region. That there are more than thousands of cases of women, period, in that region that go missing. But this one's getting national headlines because they had body cam footage and because it was a pretty white lady.
Right.
I steered away from it. And I know I can be the bad guy in this situation right now with what I'm going to say. But honestly, in what I think is right and true, this is the right decision. As you just said, I hope they catch this prick. And he gets what's coming to him. We don't know. There is an innocent until proven guilty thing. And yes, you can watch all the body cam footage. You can watch the reactions from everybody and stuff like that, but you don't know. You don't know what happened. There's so many unexplained. Like I said, this is the total devil's advocate type thing. Like I said, I have no skin in this fight. I'm not into it, but the things that I am into are just like any other political or social event that is happening. Is you have to have all the facts and evidence and coming to your own conclusions, because that's what you think is right is not right.
Right.
You don't know. And if there's any doubt, because that's what this is, beyond a reasonable doubt, 100%, you know everything beyond a reasonable doubt that A is A and B is B. But nobody does right now. Everybody is speculating everything that's happened, and they've already made their, condemnations of what they think should happen, what they think did happen, and everything like that. There is a couple who obviously has major issues. The dude obviously is a egotistical, probably sociopath type person who has major mental distress. The girl herself is a depressed and self-loathing individual who probably is in an abusive relationship and tries to protect her abuser, because that's what happens in those types of things when somebody
common.
is in that kind of relationship, usually. And so, yeah, the facts are, the lights can show you this one thing, but that doesn't mean that's not necessarily what happened. There could have been an accident. This chick could have killed herself. She could have been in some other kind of accident, and this dude hit it, or he could have killed her.
It is ruled. It's ruled a homicide. She did not harm herself.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
But
homicide.
we don't know yet. Nothing has come out. You even said that too, as the coroner has not said anything. The coroner did not say it
No,
was a
they've
homicide.
said
This is
no.
this is
That's
alleged. This is
official.
a homicide.
No, it is. It
Well,
is
what I
official.
saw earlier when I
It's a
did look
homicide.
into this before this is that it has not been ruled anything, that there are no definitions until they have concluded the full investigation with the coroner and everything like that.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
The coroner.
And once again, that's the other thing too, is there's so much different information that's
I
going
can.
on. People are getting things from every one place, things are
Yeah.
getting things from other places. Just like in political discussions, everybody is finding the information that pertains to what they want to see, and they're able to justify what they think.
Yeah.
And that's a problem
Yeah.
in my eyes.
It. I can assure you that the coroner put out a press release, stating that we have not found the cause of death, but we have ruled this a homicide. But since there is no cause of death, they cannot officially name him. Well, they could if they wanted to. They can do whatever they want. They're the federal government. But they're trying to play this as close to the book as possible. That is why, like, the federal indictment that is out for Brian Laundrie right now has nothing to do with the death of her. It is using they want a reason to, like, get him in, like, to be able to pull him in and use all of the resources that the federal government has to pull him in, as to arrest him. And right now, what they can use to arrest him is the fact that he drove her van and used her debit card and her bank accounts across state lines to purchase things,
Can be a federal offense. Yeah.
right? Which, full blown federal offense. It's something
Identity
like,
theft.
yeah, it's something like 20 years or something like that. So it's a federal crime that they can bring him in for, and then continue.
It takes away the locality of it. It doesn't have to be
Right.
podunk wherever. This makes it a federal offense, so that where federal agents and investigators can be a part of this, and so resources are abundant instead of slightly isolated to
You can do more. You can do more.
forest town.
You can do more with an indictment on a federal level. You can do more with an indictment than you can do with someone who's just a person of interest. You can do way more. So it was a smart move, I think, by the FBI to issue that indictment that way. This
Good job,
is,
FBI.
So look,
What's up?
I get what you're saying. Like you're
just
you're I get what you're saying. You're very by the book, like innocent not proven guilty. We don't know, so don't jump to conclusions. But come on.
Go.
Like,
This guy is obviously a date rapist.
like he killed her. Like I think that there is there is enough that we know to know that the burden of proof is going to be on him to prove that he is, because usually the burden of proof is on the prosecution to prove that he's guilty. But there's so much here that's so sus. They're not talking. He lawyered up. He drove
because of the
it's
media
just,
broadcast of everything
No,
right now.
I get it, but
it's so
Jonathan,
public
like,
eye. Everybody's swayed opinion makes it to where the burden of proof is to prove that he didn't do it instead of proving that
I'm just saying.
did.
I'm just saying the things that are facts that we do know. It makes it painfully obvious. Like if you cannot give your opinion, like give me your honest opinion. Did Brian Laundrie? If you have to give an opinion, did Brian Laundrie kill Gabby Petito?
No.
So you think he's innocent? You think he is innocent of murder?
I think there's a possibility that
No. You
And
have an
don't-
opinion.
no.
You have an opinion. See, we can disperse the facts.
could she have killed herself?
We can no.
You don't know. It is a possibility still. It is a reasonable argument to bring about that somebody with the issues that she has shown to have, watching any of the documentation that's out there and speaking to anybody who has something to say, which is everybody, that there is a mental disturbance between possibly both of them, right? So what's to say that she didn't do that in order to do a horrible thing to him? Or who's to say she didn't do that because she had no other way out? We don't know. And so to obviously say that is 100% without doubt that somebody did something is irresponsible. We don't know. And I put that forward to anything that
But you
happens
can
to
have an
politics
opinion.
and everything like that. Yeah, yeah. My
You can have
opinion
an
is we
opinion.
don't know and we need more
That's not your
information.
opinion. That is just stating a fact that we don't know. But the
But that is my
opinion,
opinion. Like I said, if you want to
your
ask
opinion, your
absolute, I
opinion,
can't give
your
you one
opinion
because I
cannot,
don't
your
have an
opinion
absolute.
though, your opinion cannot be what is the
I
on
stayed out
paper
of this.
fact.
I avoided this at all costs. The only
Right.
reason I looked up anything else was because I knew we were going to talk about
Mm-hmm.
this. So I picked up some other things, just like some
Right.
basic facts. I was like, okay, I can talk about this
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to avoid it because I
Mm.
saw the spectacle that it became.
Oh yeah, it definitely became a
I saw
spectacle.
that at the
For sure.
very roots of it. I saw somebody post a Facebook like memorial or memorabilia or whatever
Memorial.
you want to
Yeah.
say about this chick.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this like whole it's a picture of her with angel wings and
Mm-hmm.
mountains in the background and all the stuff. I'm like, you do not know this person. Like, and I saw you a month ago
Mm-hmm.
talking about how people who get vaccines are weak and you hope they die because of the science that's in the vaccines. But
Mm-hmm.
yet you're crying over somebody who you don't even know who you think got killed by her boyfriend. Like that is asinine to me. That is ridiculous to think about. That there's people in this world right now who are crying over somebody they don't even know just because there's huge media attention and not knowing all the information 100%. But then you look at something that's scientifically proven on one side and it says this, and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
completely dismiss it and then tell the people who believe in that that
Right.
they're fucking stupid. Okay, so
Sure.
the audience that is buying into this without taking themselves back, and I'm sorry to say, like, you do need to take a step back because we don't know. It's 100%. Everything is not out there, and you cannot say for a conclusion. Just like any kind of science, if they would have said the vaccine gave a 15% chance to cure us, you wouldn't have taken it. I wouldn't have taken it. But they showed science behind it. They showed
Mm-hmm.
that this is going to help you. This is going to help stop the spread. This is going to help put things in your corner to defend yourself against the virus. So we backed up. We got vaccinated. This story is so young, so early, so premature, and we do not have
Sure.
all the evidence. You cannot 100% stand behind it and start making judgments about anybody in this case, about the victim or about the alleged murderer. If it doesn't
Oh,
need to be him,
I can
cool,
judge.
that's fine. Let him
I
do
can
it.
judge.
But you can't sit there and say without a doubt that this is it, like this is the truth and this is what happened, because people are messed up individuals and do a lot of crazy things, even if it's to ruin their entire life and their creation and their existence just to harm somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. Like I said, people do effed up stuff all the time for no good
I
or understandable
look.
reason.
You're right. You're right. And on paper, and the way you're essentially reading, the laws of our judicial system
Black and white about a lot of stuff,
out
man. I
loud,
can't help that.
and that's fine. I have a fucking brain, and I can see what we know is fact right now, and
Yeah,
I
about
am
heart.
fairly. I don't. I'm look. It's not a wishful thinking that I hope he's the one that killed her, and that I hope we find her. I am quite close to beyond certain. I am more than beyond certain. Let's be real. That this guy murdered his girlfriend. Now, do I think this guy is a? I don't agree with you that I think this guy's a sociopath. I don't think that he is a murderous person at heart. I don't. I don't think this guy is a serial killer in the making. I don't think he's that smart when it comes to this kind of stuff. I think this was an emotional outburst, a crime of passion, and even possibly an accident that went too far. But I think that he facilitated the death of his girlfriend. He left her there and drove off. And now he's missing on his own volition. Now, I'm not going to go any further than that because that's where there's more speculation. Was his parents involved? Is his parents helping them out? They found out today that they were packing up their camper before everything went to a head and they all left together. Like, we don't, that stuff, I'm with you. We don't fucking know. That's way too much speculation. We need to let the investigators do their job and then deliver those facts to us. But, and I understand and I agree with you that my point of view on this is not black and white. There is a bit of emotion, but there's also a bit of intellectual thinking that comes down to this that is way too fucking sus. The fact that he lawyered up and then went missing was sus enough, but then driving across the country, we now know for a fact that he used her money. How dirty is fucking that? Like, can you imagine using the money of someone that you know is dead? Like, that is fucking gross.
But what if he didn't know she was dead?
Then I'm wrong. Then I'll admit that I'm wrong to your face, and I will give you a fucking apology. Right? I'll look you.
You don't have to apologize to me. I'm just saying, but what if? It's the ultimate, like, we
completely right. You're completely right.
Couples use each other's money.
What if she didn't die by his hands? You're right, because we don't know. But I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, and if he did, may he rot in hell. 100%.
Yeah, sure.
Like I said, that's why make sure.
Or at least jail. Or at least jail.
The guy. I'm defending the process of, of investigation. I'm defending the process of finding out the answers. It's not that I doubt anything. Because from what I've seen, and my interpretation of this is, and why I said sociopath earlier, was a little bit of information that I have seen about this dude laughing and, just yucking it up with the cops and everything while his girlfriend's crying in the car, defending him. This is, it just shows that he could be very well a sociopath who is aware of everything. And then with her, like I said, the signs of, this could be domestic, violence, things that have been happening for a while.
Emotional abuse of anything. Like,
yeah. And I don't want to say that it didn't happen, but like I said, we have to find out everything before we can start just 100% throwing around, boom, this is what it is. Like, that's just my big thing about it. Like, and everybody, I feel, has like this 100% certain position on it, like left, right. Mostly everything is blaming this dude for it. But like, hey, like there could be some crazy circumstances. And I don't want everybody to be so out there on their thinking because everybody has gotten so vocal about their feelings and their expressions that, don't put some stuff out there that's going to be, could be so extreme that you might not be able to walk back from. Because
I think that's the difference between me and the person that the type of person that you're complaining about. Because I think the people that you
everybody.
because there are very, very many people like me. Like I said, I'm approaching this at a very intellectual level and trying to remove as much of their emotion. Because I know I'm emotional about this, but when I'm having this conversation, I want to try to remove as much emotion from it as possible and work with the facts and give my opinion based off said facts. So that's why I am very, very specific when I say that I feel that he did kill her. I'm not going around being like, he did it. I have not done that once this entire video, and I'm not going to do that at any point in this video. And there are a lot of people like me, but to your point, for every person that's like me, there are 2-3 people that are just like pretty much putting him on the cross and nailing him in right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So there is that mob mentality that's there, and I know exactly what you're talking about, that's what needs to be avoided and stuff like that.
And if he did, this dude needs to die horribly. Like,
I want him to suffer. I want him to suffer. I would want, if he's caught and he's convicted, he needs to spend the next 70 years in jail and just sit on what he did. That's what I want. I feel like the death penalty and like that is getting him off easy, man. That's what I feel.
There's
getting him off easy.
There's so much stuff that came out about this case that just like put out so much horrible misinformation on the internet. Like, where you just go on there every day and it's just random BS constantly. That you just have to sift through that makes going online a chore more than
Yeah,
like, hey, I
yeah.
just want to check up on people. Like it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I started early on, like checking the Reddit every day just to see if there's any
Mhm.
updates and stuff like that. And I think the last like couple of days, I've definitely, after she was found, I definitely stayed away from the Reddit as much as possible. I'm watching like news reports, like whenever there's like a actual like a news organization covering it live, I'll watch it then because I feel good about watching it there because they're not going to spit out any type of misinformation. Hopefully, shouldn't be spitting out any misinformation. You got to hope that those sources are checked.
There's some sus
Um,
there too.
there can be for sure. But for the most part, what we've seen, the news has been doing a pretty good job. Pretty good job. They're actually the national news has been helping out with debunking certain things. Like there was in North Florida, there was a hunting camera that caught a guy that actually did look like it was a grainy picture, but I would say I can see why people thought it was him. But again, you have to take that with a grain of salt and just trust that people are going to send that over to the FBI. And then the FBI checked it in, and it wasn't him. They confirmed who that person was, and then the national news did a good job of communicating the fact that, hey, people who are looking at this picture, we want to let you know publicly that this is not Brian Laundrie. So the news has been doing a pretty valiant job. I'll even give credit to Fox News. They're not my news station of choice, but I can give them credit. Like Fox News has done a pretty decent job at covering this pretty fairly. But yeah, it has been nuts. But I think that is a topic that we're going to be talking about, like the swath of misinformation and people just kind of going
As everything
cavalier.
comes in, it's going to be more and more in depth, like on what's happening. And of course, this is going to be like, this is the thing of the year right now. This is, like you said, national, international news. We get these like every, 10, 15 years, even though it happens every day. The big news story comes out like, and becomes the America love story for the month.
Yeah,
And yeah, this is it.
yeah. Protect your people. Always find a way to keep them close. Your family members, like have your like your Apple does a good job at having like your phone tracking and stuff like that. Just like have that
iPhone, yep.
on, like whenever you're
You
going
can
on
you can
trips
share
and
your
stuff like that.
locations with people. If you ever
Yeah.
feel any bit uncomfortable, make sure you go on your text, like
Mm-hmm.
go into a big group message and just share your location.
Mm-hmm. You go into an
And
Uber, you can share your
yeah,
location with anyone. Like, just protect yourself.
the technology
Be
we
safe
have,
out there. Yeah.
it's in your hands.
Yeah. Yeah, be safe. I think that's something that's going to be a saving grace in this case for Gabby Petito is the fact that they chronicled a vast majority of this. And for better for like, yes, there is a lot of we're in this connected social media age, so there's always going to be that misinformation about any topic imaginable. But I think at the end of the day, there is some sort of net positive in this because there can be misinformation. The FBI will look at it. They will rule it in or rule it out. And I think at the end of the day, like the dash cam footage that actually spotted the van that led to them find that video specifically led them to her remains. And I think at the end of the day, this stuff can be a net positive. But like you said, people have to keep it in check. Keep expectations in check. Don't believe. It's very easy. It's very, very easy to be like, holy shit, that's it.
I've just seen
like
so many crazy conspiracy theories like on the internet. Like I said, not even getting into this, just being in a random thread somewhere and then just starting to see people start posting like crazy. I'm like, why is this here in my internet right now?
Right. Yeah. I made my first public Facebook post about it today, and this is the last thing I'll leave for me personally. And it was, I just hope they find that Brian Laundrie prick. Not because I want him to go to jail, not because I mean I do
Just
want
to find
that
out.
personally.
To find out.
That's the only way we're going to know, right? That is the only way we're going to know.
He
Is
has
if
to
we
be
hear it
found.
from him. Yeah, he has to be found. He has to be found alive, and he has to be questioned and interviewed. So hopefully we get that, and only time will tell.